All of a sudden you hear, help me, he's trying to kill me.
Hi RNL fam!
Welcome back to the channel.
If you guys are new here, smash that subscribe button down below.
And don't forget to hit that notification bell because we post 3 videos every single week. Okay, so for this week, I always want to do this. We want to bring back story times. We got some juicy stories to tell you guys.
These stories are off the charts.
I'm gonna tell you about our crazy neighbors. This was back when we were in college. I don't know how it happened. Like every time we move somewhere, some crap always goes down. It never fails.
Yeah, we've literally never lived somewhere where something crazy didn't happen with our neighbors.
Except for here. Nothing crazy happened here.
True. All right, so.
Yet.
Knock on wood.
Oh, you just knocked on my head.
So these are stories from our past, and there's what, 3 or 4 different stories that we have. They're all pretty crazy, guys.
Well, last one we're gonna tell you guys about our next door neighbor who was attempted murderer.
Yeah, and I also have one crazy story time that happened at work. So.
Oh, that one's so gross. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
All right, let's just jump right into it. I got my glass of wine because we're gonna spill all the tea.
Y'all need to buckle up.
Baby, you said that last time.
I know, that's why we did it.
All right, so let's get started. So we're gonna tell you 4 different stories,
Do
right?
we have any announcements before we start? Like follow our Instagram or something like that?
Okay, I guess you guys, if you guys haven't already, go check out our Instagram, Rachel and Lucas. I want to get to 10,000 followers because I want to swipe up.
Yeah, help us out. Can we get the swipe up, please?
So like maybe if you post more. I post a lot of Lillian over there, so if you guys are Lillian deprived, go check out the Instagram. I post all the time in the stories, and we go live all the time on Instagram.
That is true, randomly. Check it out.
Let's start with the mild ones and then quickly go to the really crazy ones.
Okay.
You wanna do that? Are we telling your story last or my story last?
Your story last.
Okay, so that means you should start with the mushroom.
For this video, guys, trigger warning, we are gonna be telling stories about near deaths, deaths, crazy things, maybe some blood. So if you guys are triggered by any of that, click off right now.
Don't click off.
Oh.
Mute your computer and just let the video
Just let the video play.
Because we need our analytics, guys. Don't be that's gonna ruin our analytics.
Right.
YouTube cares about how long they retain on the video.
Back in our college days, we were staying in an apartment complex and there was always lots of parties. If you guys know about college parties, comment down below, hashtag college party, woo woo. So there was always lots of parties on the same floor. So people would just walk from party to party and it was all loud, everybody's doors open, walking in and out, everybody's, you know, drinking a little bit. And,
a lot. Yeah,
and apparently some parties, they were doing some hardcore stuff. So one guy took shrooms and he thought he could fly. So I remember seeing tons of ambulances, tons of cop cars, and we walked down and we're like, you know, trying to figure out what's going on. And then everybody's yelling, the guy, he jumped out of the window. He thought he could fly. So this guy was eating shrooms, he thought he could fly. So he literally, 3rd story, jumped out of the window and then just landed. I think they said he died on impact. And we actually saw the body, so.
That one was, I think that was the first time I've ever, except for funerals, but first time I ever saw a body, a dead body, like right away.
There's blood on the trash can, so when he hit the ground, it was, yeah, you guys get the point. Whoa.
Next story is the Peeping Tom story. This one kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. This
is kind of the reason why we got Benji. So we used to, baby, what?
Little dog.
No,
what's he gonna do?
That's true.
Go
We should have got like Leo first.
We should have got Leo first, but yeah.
But I was like, let me get this little tiny white dog that can't do anything.
Right.
Moved into a townhouse. It was like towards the end of our college days. We were on the 2nd floor. And one day, our neighbor below us told us that a guy was standing outside the window, peeping inside both of our windows, whether it was ours and theirs.
Right.
And they said that when they walked out, the guy ran away. The bad thing is, which I'm thinking we did a really good job, is if we were going from the shower, we're closing our windows, making sure our windows were closed, you can't see anything. Unfortunately for them, the girl came out, like, taking a shower, like she was always leaving the windows open. The guy ended up coming back and became like a recurrent person.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. And once you know about stuff like that, that's why we have security cameras around our house, because it's just a good idea if you see people lingering or walking or looking in windows, then you can report it to the authorities.
Oh shoot, and you remember not too like a couple weeks after their house got broken into. They busted through the screen door and they broke into the house.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was correlation or somebody else. All right, so our next story is what happened at Lucas's job. Fast forwarding a couple of years later.
All right, this is too crazy of a story. You guys got some tea for this? Pull up your tea, get ready. All right, a little bit of background information for this story. So as a home health physical therapist, I have to go into people's houses, and it's not always in the nicest of areas. A lot of times it's actually in shady kind of areas. There's a lot of drugs going on. I've actually had to pull out of houses because I've stepped over needles and things like that before.
Good.
So in those situations, I always call and say, I can't do this house, it's unsafe for me, and that's that. For this particular house, it wasn't dangerous as far as drugs, but the person was an extreme hoarder. I remember the first time walking up to the house, it smelled disgusting, like dead animals. And that's honestly what I thought it was when I first walked into the house. The guy was bedridden, hadn't been out of bed in weeks. There was piles of boxes and newspapers to the ceiling. There was only a little footpath to get back to the room. So when I walked into the house, it smelled straight like if you ever smelled like a dead rat, have you ever smelled that?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Or roadkill on the side of the road. That's what it smelled like. So I thought like, hey, this guy's got food all over the place. It's probably a combination of food and literally dead animals.
Like rats.
Rats, that's what I thought. And so when I start talking to this guy, and it's hard to breathe. I don't know how this guy had been living in this situation. As I start digging, I'm asking him, you know, like, how's your living situation? Is anyone here to help you with activities and bathing, dressing? And he says, I had a girlfriend, 2 weeks ago, she up and left me. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird that she just all of a sudden just left and you never saw her again. She didn't tell you she was leaving. She hasn't called or texted. So the next time I came back to that house, the neighbors started smelling the same smell that I had smelled. So they all called the cops. As the cops were peeling back these boxes, they found his girlfriend. So I didn't see his girlfriend, but the cops were telling me that, you know, you can no longer go in there, it's a crime scene now. So apparently the boxes had fallen on top of her and they were so heavy that I guess she got knocked unconscious or something like that, but she died underneath a pile of boxes. That's a crazy story. That was a little eye-opening.
All right, so the last story is when this was,
Let me get some, I need some tea for this. This is the craziest because it was so close to us.
Right.
I think this deserves the craziest story. So if y'all are still here,
comment down below which story you think is crazier. Or comment down below your crazy stories. This is when, right before we moved into our house now, we're in a different townhouse to where they're right next to each other. We moved here when Lillian was, about almost a year, right? So I would say she was about 8 months old, I can't remember. One day, I got Lillian, you know, we're coming back home from work and school, and all of a sudden, like right when I pulled up into our driveway, our next door, okay, back up, Rachel.
Quick background of this story. We have known that our next door neighbors were a little off. Him and his girlfriend were always fighting.
Always.
So, I mean, there was one morning we woke up and there was a pile of clothes on our front lawn. So like out in front of our townhouse. We knocked on their door and we were like, hey, like, you know, are these your guys' clothes? Oh yeah, we were fighting and she threw all my clothes on the lawn. And so there have been a couple of these instances where loud screaming, things broken. So that was the precursor. Then to this day.
So we knew about him and his girlfriend. Like I knew who she was and we knew who he was.
Right.
So as I was pulling up into the driveway with Lillian, there was another neighbor just going on a nice walk and they were walking past our driveway. So we waited a little bit. And so as he like went right past it, we pulled into our driveway. And all of a sudden you hear, help me, help me, help me, help me. He's trying to kill me. So I was like, listen guys, look at me, like I'm black, right?
What?
I'm gonna be honest with you, we run. So I was like, go.
Plus you had Lillian in the back.
I had Lillian, so as she was screaming and running like towards our driveway and to the guy, because the guy was practically on our driveway, the neighbor came out of the house. So I'm like, oh heck no, like he's about to shoot somebody up.
Right.
So I quickly backed out, I went, and I like pulled off, probably about like 30 feet away. As I was pulling away, the next door neighbor's boyfriend went back in the house.
Oh.
That scared me even more.
Nah.
So I'm like calling 911. I'm like, listen, I don't know what's going on. She's screaming, da da da. Like, guys, come help me, come help, come help. And they were like, okay, what's going on? Is she okay? I was like, I don't know, blah, blah. They're like, can you ask her questions? I'm like, the guy went back in the house. Like, I don't know what he gonna do. So they came and walked a lot further down from because our houses obviously are connected. And so they walked further down. And she was about, I want to say, about still 30 feet away from me. And I was like, does he have a gun? And she goes, no. So I went to her and I was like, the cops are asking questions, they're asking like questions about him, what is your name, da da. And she's telling us our names. They're asking what happened, and she said, I was in that house for hours and he tied me up and was abusing me, punched me in the stomach, choking me, and he pulled off every single one of my fingernails. And when she showed me her nails, they were all black and bloody.
Yeah.
And they were all gone. And she had scratches and bruises all over her. And she said, he said, I'm going to you now.
Yeah.
And he went to the kitchen to get and as she did that, she broke free and ran out the house, and that's when she came to us. I was like, oh my gosh. So the cops finally came. It took them so freaking long because it was, of course, out of all days, it was traffic that day. By the time they came, they were like banging on the door. No one answered. So they went to the back and they bust through the patio door.
Jeez.
And they ripped through, I don't know how they got in the house.
Yeah.
And they must have like just some of the locks.
I'm sure they have like battering rams and stuff.
That's true, and he was nowhere to be found. He ran away. So the guy was on probation. He ended up running because I feel like everywhere we live, there's always woods.
Woods, always.
There's always woods where we
Florida,
live.
yeah.
That's true. Florida was a wood. So he ran to the woods.
Because he had the anklet on.
He had the ankle bracelet because he was on probation.
Yeah.
And so they had GPS and like, he's in the woods, he's in the woods, he's in the woods. And they had like 5 canine dogs out.
Yeah.
There was like billions of cops and they were surrounding the whole helicopters. I mean, it was like a crazy scene.
Yeah.
And they never found him.
Ugh.
They never found him.
And then we moved.
And then we moved. We moved so fast.
Right.
We moved so fast.
With our daughter, I mean, I think that's the crazy story. You guys can let us know what do you think the craziest one was, but
also comment down below if you guys have any crazy stories. I'm sure some of you guys have because there's so many of us out there.
Yeah.
If you want to hear more story times, let us know. This is really fun to give you guys story times about anything that happened in our lives. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below.
Hit that notification bell. All right guys, we love you.
Can't wait to see you Friday for our American Try series.
We're doing Vietnamese food, so
We are.
stay tuned.
Bye,
Bye guys.